Steve Barthelson. I am a contractor at Langley, and I've been a contractor before at Wallops Island. I wanted to speak to you about a new concept involving Magnus effect. This is a simple demonstrator that I have right here. This represents a rocket booster at the bottom, and at the top is a payload. This payload is a symmetric payload. After the rocket launches, this payload separates, and the booster falls off. It can be recovered on a chute or whatever. The payload, once it's high in the atmosphere, can assume, using gas jets, a transverse position, and it can be traveling back into the Earth's atmosphere. And it can also use the gas jets to spin up in a direction of rotation in the direction of my fingers. And it can become, in effect, a glider. The Magnus effect will cause a high pressure region on the bottom of this payload and a low pressure region on top. And this can cause this to fly, much as an aircraft, and it doesn't have any angle of attack problems like regular aircraft. It can also do banked turns. If one half is allowed to rotate a little faster than the other half, then that causes this half to have a little less drag and a little more lift, and it can cause a banked turn. And this thing can navigate its way into a precise landing at a location. It can be, in effect, a system that would be useful for space tourism. If the payload, for example, went up around 300,000 feet into the atmosphere, it could bring people back. The people would be riding in seats that had gyroscopes in them, so they wouldn't have to rotate with the payload. And it would be just a very, very simple system for navigating into space and then returning. Upon landing, I guess the rotation of this is such that you wouldn't want it on a rough surface. Maybe you could land on water or soft grass. But that's just one application for this. It could also be used as a launch abort system. Again, if it were launched from a rocket and the booster was having difficulty, it once again, could orient itself using gas jets, spin up, come safely back to Earth. Very simple launch abort system. Another application is a variation of the Ares vehicle on Mars. As a glider, Ares currently calls for a capsule coming into the Martian atmosphere, and this capsule has to open up. Aircraft has to unfold, and then it begins its transit, gliding around Mars. This would be a much simpler system. It would just travel to Mars, it would come into the Martian atmosphere, it would make banked turns, it could catch updrafts, and then it could glide, possibly for long periods of time, just catching updrafts on Mars. But it would not have all the complexity of the current Ares. Another application for it involves a pneumatic as opposed to a rocket launch, where this could be launched from a pneumatic gun, say pressurized by solar or wind energy, and then it could travel to different areas within Alaska and bring people things that would normally be supplied to them at the risk of a bush pilot's life. This could be an alternative that would allow fast transportation without any fuel in Alaska, and it could also be used in Russia, wherever there are areas in the world where there are poor roads. These are just some of the things that this could be used for. One thing that I glossed over a little bit in my initial explanation is that this will frequently come in at hypersonic speeds, and it might be desirable for it to come in at an angle, I guess, where there is a component, okay, for giving this thing lift at hypersonic or supersonic velocities, and then eventually it would turn so that it was completely normal to its flight path. And that concludes my presentation. I hope I've sparked your interest. Thank you. Bye.